You don't technically need this car. You say that out loud to yourself. You say, I have no space. You say, I'm just looking. Then you click. Then you zoom in on photo number 87 and whisper, oh no. Then you text a friend, the one who always enables you. You say to yourself, this is the last one, knowing it is not. You don't need this car. But maybe, just maybe, this car needs you. Bring a trailer. It's never just a car.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Got a car to sell but no time to waste? Hop on to Carvana.com to get a real offer for your car in seconds. All you have to do is enter your license plate, answer a few quick questions, and if you accept the offer, Carvana will pay you as soon as you hand the keys over. They even offer same-day pickup in many cities. Save your time, score some cash, and sell your car the convenient way to Carvana. Pickup times vary. Fees may apply.
A lot of great coaches didn't go straight into the profession, and that's okay. Today on The Next Move, presented by Coach Portal, we're joined by Coach Nate Stout to talk about how to crack into high-level coaching, even if you didn't take the traditional route right after college. If you haven't already, sign up for your free 6-month trial at Coach Portal. Upload your resume, track your progress, and get seen by decision makers. Visit coach-portal.com, enter the code CCPodcast for your free 6-month trial, and make your next move. As I said, we're joined today by Nate Stout. He's the offensive line coach at Tennessee Martin, a D1 program in Tennessee. So, Coach, great to have you here on the podcast.
Appreciate you having me. I'm excited for the opportunity.
So, Coach, the topic here is, it obviously fits you. Got into the coaching realm by taking the equipment route first. Tell us about your journey, how you got started, and what led you to where you're at today.
Yeah, so I started off from the ground floor. I got out of playing and transitioned just into a normal college student. Dad was a high school coach, so I knew that was going to be the route in some way, shape, or form. And so I wanted to get back close to the game, and they had an open equipment spot. And I thought, let's try this. At least gets me back close to coaching, something to put on the resume. And from there, I just did what I was supposed to, busted my tail. And from there, it kind of morphed into more of like, hey, do you want to help us out? And then added more value from there. And then it was like, hey, do you want to be the assistant offensive line coach? And then it just kind of flourished from there and took me to a D3 school, back to high school, and then ETSU 2 years ago. And that's kind of been my whole career, is just adding value to a program and just letting that morph within itself. So I came kind of from the ground up, kind of made my own way. But Dad wasn't a prominent high school coach, so I didn't really have a name behind me or anything like that. I just worked with the connections that I had and just made it work from there.
Yeah, I think the big part of this is that as you go, you're building that credibility, you're networking, you're building relationships, and those things will lead you to where you ultimately want to go. So it doesn't mean you have to take that traditional path of what you see coaches do a lot of times. It's a GA or intern, analyst, moving all the way up. That this can evolve in different ways, but we'd love to hear just your tips on being able to get where you want, even if it's not a traditional path.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that I had to fight with it at first because I was told you're old in the coaching game, starting out where I was. So time was, you're on the clock and you had to go fast. But I had to kind of flip the perspective on it and be like, well, I have something that these young guys don't have. I have more life experience. So, I've been within the world a lot longer than these kids have. There's almost like a 6 or 7 year age difference between, some guys that were GAs on the team and then what I was doing. And I had to use my maturity level. And that could be as simple as like keeping my mouth shut and my ears open, where some guys were more worried about their role within the team, or am I getting a headset, or if I'm going to be on the sideline on game day. I was just listening to whatever that head coach said, and whatever he said, I attacked it. And I think that helped me within my maturity, is that I could put my pride aside, and it wasn't so much about where this could take me or where the end goal and things. It was more about, I was more mature. I was able to open my ears and listen to what's happening right there in the now. And I think that's what's going to get like your attention, the attention of a head coach or attention of the OC or DC, is that whatever he said, you attacked it right then and there. And it wasn't about what you wanted to do at that point in time. If it was a piece of trash, I was jumping all over it. And I think that's something valuable for even young coaches getting into this, and then the older ones, using their being more mature and having life experiences, is put the pride aside. Yes, we all want to be, an FBS Division I offensive coordinator, offensive line. We all want those things. We're all competitive and we all want those things, but you can't look at that and be like, why am I not there right now? Because if you do that, it's going to be a vicious circle and then you're going to get into your own head. So it was really just about being mature and just attacking individual things that I thought brought value to the team. And it got me noticed and it got my foot in the door. And then it's like, okay, this guy does this, attacks what I say. Let's give him a little bit more responsibility. Let's give him a little bit more. And then it kind of morphed from there. So that's my biggest piece of advice for either young coaches or older coaches. Just set the pride aside and be mature about things and understand it's not the end game. It's about what's in front of you right now.
So you mentioned, as you were getting into it, people pointing out, man, you're a little bit older than the guys who do this. And certainly as you go through it, those kinds of things, just hearing that can cause some doubts. There's challenges there. How did you overcome, I guess, those kinds of things and have the right mindset that really doesn't matter?
I really think that came from, again, me being more mature and having more life experiences. I had taken a few knocks already. I had to deal with adversity. I'd had to function and move within a situation before. And you're right, it can be a vicious cycle to where you start playing this old, like, do I need to get out of it? Do I need to move on with my life? And I feel like the biggest thing is just like hone in on something and hone in on the right now and let the rest of the stuff work itself out. Because if you quit, right? If you're like, oh, I'm too old for this and you quit, well, you've already determined your future there. There's only one future. You're not making it. So for me, it was like, and then even like you talk about the pressures of having a family. Like when I went back to ETSU, I had a little girl and I had a wife, and I had took a severe pay cut to get back into college. And it was just trusting in yourself. Like, you're in this position, you have this opportunity for a reason, and you're meant to be here. And even if you don't feel like you are, you got to fake it, man. You got to just drive yourself through it sometimes and just be patient with yourself. And then once you start figuring out that not everybody knows everything, you aren't behind on stuff as a coach, because as a coach, you're always trying to get better at your craft. You're always trying to develop. That stuff's going to come just with more experience and stuff. So it was really about like, be patient, understand your skills and what you bring value to the team. And that kind of what got me through it is I hanged my hat on a few things and I did those things really well. And I know I could always fall back on those things. I can always get better at the stuff I need to get better at. But yeah, focusing on like, do I need to get in it? Do I need to get out of it? You've already answered. If you got any doubts, like, you're going to have doubts, but if you don't set your mind in one path and go in that direction, like, it's already predetermined what's going to happen. You're not going to make it.
In looking at that, yeah, there's some sacrifices when you make the move. Some other people arrive at, hey, I want to get into this maybe a little bit later in life. Do you think it's ever too late to get into this profession and be able to make it as far as you want?
No, I had a coach tell me that you're never going to make it because you're too old. And I see what he was saying, because it's the traditional path of starting young right after you play and do that. But I've made it. It hasn't been the prettiest. It hasn't always been the picture perfect career, but it's been my career. And it's the one that I own and I take pride in. And I don't think there's anything, once you start putting boxes on people are meant to break that stuff. And that's what's going to happen. And that's just what I said. I said, okay, well, let's see if I'm too old, and just had a no turn back mentality, burn the boats. Just like, this is all I'm going to do. There is no out. You can't give yourself an out. Like, well, if this doesn't work out, I'm going to go no. You got to go attack that thing full force and give yourself no out. And you'll see a lot of times that when you put people in a corner and they got to fight themselves out of it, really you're going to see who that person is. And it's just kind of what happened to me. I just kept fighting and putting my head down each day and just swinging for the fences. I had nothing to lose. And that's another great thing is, like, we talk about offenses and defenses and stuff, or like games. I hate to see a team come in and play us that has nothing to lose. Like, that is a dangerous team right there. And you got to flip that thing when you're coaching. Like, you are dangerous. There's nothing to lose here. So you're swinging for the fences every day. And I just kind of took that mentality with it.
Coach, you and the Skyhawks get the opportunity to swing for the fences here August 28th as the season kicks off. You guys will be in Stillwater, Oklahoma, facing the Oklahoma State Cowboys. So that opportunity to put all of that into play comes right to you right away.
No doubt. We're super excited to get this season kicked off, chasing ring number 5 in a row. I work for a great head coach in Coach Simpson, and he's a Hall of Famer for sure. So super excited about the opportunity to be the O-line coach here.
Coach, I really appreciate the insight you shared with us here today, and best of luck to you and the Skyhawks in 2025.
Appreciate that. Appreciate the opportunity.
No matter where you're starting from, there's a path forward if you're willing to put in the work. To help your next move stand out, make sure your profile and experience are visible to hiring staffs. Sign up today at Coach Portal for your free 6-month trial and connect with the right people. Visit coach-portal.com, enter the code CCPodcast, and make your next move.